It's a hell of a thing as they were in Chicago yesterday, taking on Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears, and Drake Maye taking the field. And wondering, what's the game plan going to be against these Chicago Bears? They're going to run the ball. They're going to pass the ball. They did a bit of both.
Play fake by Maye, deep drop, time to fire to the right side, looking for Hooper, and he makes the catch, extending, Bob. Falling backward on a dime by Maye. Over the top of Kyler Gordon.
What a throw by Maye. I didn't think he was going to get this ball over the defender to get it to Hooper, who's running a bend route.
Hooper, by the way, one of these guys who pops up, it seems, every once in a while. You think that Hunter Henry might be the only viable target for Drake Maye, and then all of a sudden out of the Hooper, there he comes. There he is, and he's got pretty good hands.
Yes.
I'm impressed with this Hooper kid.
He's been around a while.
Well, I mean, he inherited the store.
All right, there we go. It's a Hooper. It's a Sesame Street reference.
Ah, yes.
Do you remember when you were, John was probably in his 20s, I was 8 years old, when Mr. Hooper died on Sesame Street?
I don't remember that.
On set and live one day. It was terrible.
Oh.
Did he really die on set?
No, I don't think so.
Because there was a...
Red Fox died on set, and they thought it was a gag.
No, because he was saying, I'm gonna join you.
He had a heart attack, and people thought he was doing like a pratfall. He was doing like some physical comedy, but when they were in the middle of shooting whatever sitcom he was on at the time.
When I was 8 years old, and this is before modern times, when this is a children's television network, they did an episode of Sesame Street where they addressed the death of Mr. Hooper. Like, Big Bird is very sad and doesn't understand that he's not coming back, and the whole episode is about how Mr. Hooper died, and he had died in real life. It was very controversial television at the time, but then lauded by everyone. It was praised as something else. But every time I hear Hooper, some of you probably think Burt Reynolds, like thugs, but I think of Mr. Hooper.
Well, I think of Burt Reynolds because there ain't nothing like the life of a Hollywood stuntman. Stuntman.
Was it Jan Michael Vincent? Is that the guy who was with him in that movie?
He was the up and coming
Trying
stuntman.
to bump Hooper off.
Yeah. But you know what? They got together at the end and they did that rocket car jump together. Because one of them had to work the controls. That's a two-man jump. One to drive, one to watch the gauges, which I never 100% bought in on.
Can't take your eyes off the road for a second.
But I don't think you needed a separate guy just to watch the gauges.
Damn it, it was a complicated stunt. You had to worry about the water tower falling over. Very difficult stunt. Got to fully concentrate on driving, Hardy.
Austin Hooper, 3 catches on 4 targets, 2 of them for over 20 yards. What else was part of the game plan yesterday? Getting to Caleb Williams.
He waits on the snap from the 31 of New England officially. He takes it, stands in, pocket squeezing down, and so
he's
goes.
gonna get rid of that.
Williams sacked down on the field at the 40. As Dietrich Wise picks up another for New England. Second straight week, a sack for Wise.
Wise stays with it, wraps him up. Bad job by Williams.
Okay, you watch Drake Maye, and for those of you who think, well, you know what, Drake Maye panics a little bit. He runs too much out of the pocket, and maybe he should stay in there a couple extra seconds. This is what happens to you if you hold the ball in the NFL. Patriots had 9 sacks yesterday. I'm going to ask the room, how many of those sacks is Caleb Williams responsible for?
Oh, that's a good question.
I'd say at least 3, maybe more.
I was going to say maybe even more than half. I could go as high as 4 or 5.
He holds the ball and holds the ball and holds the ball. He's a statue back there.
But his offensive line was...
Yeah, but, I mean, look,
brutal
Drake
yesterday.
Maye's offensive line is brutal most weeks, and he manages to run away from the pressure. Caleb Williams isn't a slow kid. He just lacks. He has an alarming lack of pocket presence.
This happens to rookie quarterbacks. It's not generally like a straight line up. They start panicking and falling into bad habits. And this is I don't think he's going to end up like this. I think he's too talented. But this is a little Zach Wilson-y. The way he played yesterday, he looked completely overwhelmed. And I don't really know how he was so overwhelmed by the Patriots defense. And a credit to the Patriots defense, but he played, as you all saw, incredibly poorly. He looked, we'll talk about it a bunch of times, but Drake Maye looked like the better quarterback.
Yeah.
With the more composed quarterback and the more skilled quarterback, which I don't imagine is true that he's as physically skilled as Caleb Williams, obviously.
No.
But you wouldn't know that by watching yesterday.
Now, Williams, there was a bad drop early. Adunze had a bad drop early, but there were a couple of rollouts where there were guys wide open near the sideline, and Williams airmailed a couple of them.
Yes.
And that was after he got sacked a bunch of times. Look, Caleb Williams obviously is physically gifted, but that quarterback isn't going to be an all-pro anytime soon. He's not going to just magically reappear and be awesome. This is a long process, and the Bears are built to win now. They're 4-5. I don't see how this team's going to get any better this season.
If you want to make an excuse for Caleb Williams, he had to deal with something that opposing quarterbacks have not had to deal with so far.
Takes the snap, drops back. Wise applying pressure from the quarterback's right.
Schooler
comes in as well.
Yeah.
He's got there for the sack.
What a call.
Deion White, a third defender in the backfield as the Patriots take down Williams.
That's a great call by DeMarcus Washington. Schooler comes up. He's showing blitz. Then he drops. And what he is, he's the spy for Caleb Williams.
That's right. As getting snaps at safety, his first career sack. I said snack because I'm thinking of Schooner Tuna, the tuna with a heart. Brendan Schooler, Mr. Mom, Schooner Tuna.
Jeez, of
Come
course. I totally blanked on that. That's me.
Getting one of those sacks of the 9 that you mentioned, Wallach. 2 for Dietrich Wise yesterday. Anthony Jennings had 2 sacks yesterday. So yeah, huge credit to the defense, and that's essentially what Drake Maye had to say after the game, because once again we're deciding who this guy is, and what you think of him and how he's handling himself in a lot of these situations as a rookie. But for him to go up there and say, yeah, it was good, but really it's all about the defense, and he is the first one to give credit to someone else after a win like that, and that's what the Patriots got yesterday in Chicago, 19-3. Drake Maye, 15-25 for 184 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and Caleb Williams, rough outing for him, 16-30, 120 yards, and sacked 9 times.
I don't know.
So in the battle of the rookies, Drake Maye, we were having the conversation last week. Who would you rather have right
10
now?
10 times out of 10 for this season. Oh, it's not even close.
Yeah, I mean, Caleb Williams is, again, the more talented quarterback, at least coming out of college. He can do more things. And he's not like, Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix, who's played a million games in college. I mean, he's a young kid. He's relatively inexperienced, but comparatively to and even Penix,
Yeah.
But, yeah, we talked about it last week. If you had to win the game on Sunday, I would take Drake Maye, obviously. And now Drake Maye could end up being the better quarterback, but, I mean, he shouldn't be the better quarterback, but he might be. So there you go.
The thing that if I'm a Bears fan, the Patriots tried to hand the game to Chicago early. I mean, you watched the first quarter. You had that long punt return to midfield to start. You had the bad Drake Maye interception. You had that bad Joey Sly kickoff where he didn't make the landing zone.
He was trying to keep it under the wind, John.
And that handed Chicago the ball on the 40-yard line.
Okay.
So three possessions that started midfield in the first quarter, they did nothing with it.
I like the idea. I think his head was in the right place. It was just, the wrong execution of the right idea.
And it's funny because it's not like Drake Maye was unbelievable yesterday. I mean, he threw a bunch of balls that could have been intercepted. But
he just made that one bad play, but you're right. He wasn't great, but he wasn't terrible either. And
he could have had 3 he could have had 3 interceptions.
Oh, sure.
I mean, he was not great. But he was better than Caleb Williams.
There was a play where the Patriots tried to get tricky, and you had the reverse with the throwback. And usually when you have the reverse with the throwback, there's a guy open downfield. The idea is to all this trickery to get the long ball. Patriots can't block anybody. So
they picked up 7 yards.
Yeah, it was a reverse throwback for a screen on the sideline.
Yeah.
Never see that.
No, they were talking about on the broadcast. They were saying that, wow, you usually
you just throw the ball out in the flat.
Was it a fake reverse? Like it was something.
It was a reverse. It was a handoff, and then the wide receiver came back and he tossed it back to May.
Yeah.
But the line can't block for that long, so.
It's asking a little too much.
So he had to throw the ball out the flat for a screen.
Well, in fairness, also those plays take a while to develop. I mean, that's
for a screen pass.
Some time. You got to let those things breathe.
Or you could just throw a screen pass. But yes,
or just do it that way.
Once again, I'm amazed though at watching not just the Bears yesterday, but whether it's the Chiefs or the Lions or any team that you think, even if they're not good, you think they're not terrible. They were terrible. 142 net yards yesterday for the Bears, and somehow that snapped an 8-game home win streak. How did that team, watching that team yesterday, it's the first full game I've watched with the Bears this year, managed to win their last 8 at home. And I know that goes back to last season.
Well,
too,
last year Fields was playing well for them.
They finished real well last half of the season.
And that's why they retained their coach. Yeah. But it's interesting because people had more than a few had them winning the NFC North this year before the season, which was ludicrous. Even, I mean, obviously I'm no prognosticator, but that was ludicrous that in that division that they were going to win that division.
On paper, though, you look at it and they were talented. On paper.
No, I understand. But it's,
DJ Moore had a bad false start. I mean, they gave up. In the fourth quarter, that head coach shouldn't have a job. He's terrible.
Well, he deserved to keep it last season.
Now.
Yeah, no, not now. But and then you got to be careful because you got to hit the next coach because you can't just keep giving Caleb Williams new coaches. That's a certain way to disaster. But that division, I mean, had the NFC, the team that should have won the NFC Championship game, the Packers that made the playoffs. And an incredibly well-coached Minnesota team, and you thought that not you, but people thought Caleb Williams was going to come in there, he was going to jump all those teams. That's ludicrous. That's ridiculous. I know there's a lot of parity in the NFL, but not like that. That was a joke. But listen, here's what you know in synopsis in 45 seconds. You know that they're not the worst coach team in the NFL. You know that the team's playing hard. And you know that you have a quarterback, win. People are going to go, oh, what about the draft class? The draft class sucks beyond Drake Maye. That's unfortunate, maybe. But and I know Polk had a touchdown yesterday, but that's unfortunate. But that's really, really nitpicking garbage that is just to complain.
Yeah, give Mayo credit. He coached circles around that guy yesterday.
Your coach outcoached a veteran coach, and your rookie quarterback outplayed the first pick in the draft. I don't care about the rest of the draft class. Now, you can't do it again and whiff on a bunch of guys in the draft. And by the way, if someone's been hurt, that doesn't make it a bad draft pick. They're just hurt. But, Polk maybe won't be a top 3 receiver on a team in the NFL. But if you're a Patriot fan, you have to be pleased. You have to be pleased, regardless of what else happens, as long as May continues to develop and, and Mayo's not thoroughly crushed and this team continues to try, you have to like it.
One small thing, because they won and because there are so many bad teams in the NFL, Patriots are dropped from the first overall pick in the NFL draft to 7th. With that win yesterday.
Well, the Jets are now on full-on tankathon watch because they need a quarterback.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Sports Hub.
If you like that clip, and how could you not? Check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. Point slightly up and to the left. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. Point slightly down and to the left. And for the latest from the Sports Hub, download at 985thesportshub.com.